you how to create a lightsaber in Blender. Start by deleting the default cube, and then we're going to add in a cylinder because that's the easiest thing to work for a lightsaber. Tab into edit mode and scale in the Z direction like 7 times. You want a nice good handle. Then we're going to grab the loop cut tool and bring it up close to there, and then bring another one close to there. Here we're going to create kind of the fins that the copper fins. We're going to create a loop cut in the middle and then do 6 loop cuts. Then go into face select. You can do that by pressing 3 on the number pad or like there on the face. Then also select face select, selection tool. Then you hold down Alt and click in the center there along, and then Shift and Alt, and you can click and select each of these faces. Now we want to extrude those faces inwards. To do so, you hold Alt E, and you can do extrude along extrude faces along normals, and you just kind of about minus 0.4 is good. Then this top one we'll want to add a bevel to. So go into Edge Select and select this edge, and then go Control B. And this allows you to create a bevel. If you want more than one loop, you can add that. That looks kind of nice. Now up here on this face, we're going to go back to Face Select, and we're going to insert. This will be the diameter of the lightsaber blade. Then you insert it like that. Now we want to create some fins at the bottom. So tab back into edit mode, create a loop cut, and this will be where the fins start. And then you can press 1 to zoom in on like the period on the number pad to zoom in on there. Then we want to select these faces. So go to face select, and then you can do select, check or deselect. This will deselect the faces evenly, and we can determine how many of those fins you want. To press E and then scale on the Z axis a small amount, and then scale in the Shift Z. And then we want to change this to individual origins, and then scale those again. Then go into Edge Select, and we want to turn off the invisible mode. Words today. You just bring that down, and it'll create a nice little handle. Now that's a pretty nice little lightsaber, but we're going to add some materials. So we're going to go into rendered mode, and we're going to do object and shade smooth, and then we want to make sure that it shades it smooth correctly. So we're going to go into the data properties, and under normals we're going to click auto smooth. That just makes it better smoothing for this kind of cylinder with sharp edge shape look. Then we're going to go in and add a material. This one is going to be a metal material for the lightsaber. So we're going to call it metal. And we're going to increase the metallic all the way up. And then we're going to go into the shading workspace so that we can add in a little bit of roughness to that metal material. To do so, we're going to add a noise texture, and we're going to use that to drive the roughness values. Plug it into the roughness. Now that is a little bit too rough. To fix it, we're going to add in a color ramp and plop it in right here. And then we're going to change this bright white to a more of a dullish gray, and that will determine just how roughy rough it is. Next, we're going to go back and add in another material. We're going to call this material rubber. And we're going to make the color of this one black. And we're going to turn up the roughness. Then tap into edit mode. And we're going to select everything that is going to be rubber. So select these. Well, you want to turn on see-through mode. And then you can do Control and minus, and then Control and plus, and it'll select only those fins. And then you can go up and press Assign. And tap out. Now we're going to create another material, and it's going to be we're going to call this one copper. We're going to make this one kind of a dark orange color. And it's metallic, so we're going to turn up the metallic. Tab into edit mode, and we're gonna control these heat fins up here and make them all that copper color. So click Assign, and you can change how dark you want that copper, and how red or orange it is. And if you want some roughness added to it, you can do you can add in the same noise and plug that into the roughness, and then you can add in a color ramp, and then you can change the color. Will determine how rough it gets. I recommend a little bit rougher for the copper, and it is pretty sharp there. You can fix that if you add in some more bevel along those edges. So go into Edge Select, select each of these edges with Shift Alt, and we can do Control B, and it adds in a little bit of a bevel. And that makes it a little bit nicer there. And if you want, there is a better copper material, and there's a good video that I can link to it in the description. But that'll do for now. Now we want to have a button to turn on the lightsaber, and you'll notice there's no button yet. So we can create that with a cube. Grab it, place it, grab it along Z and move it up there. You want to look at it from the side, move it to the side, and it's a little bit too wide scaled on the Y-axis. This will create kind of a fin, well, and then scale it along like a nice button thing, exhaust button thing, and then we'll create the button that turns on the lightsaber in a second. We're going to pick the rubber for this one, but we're going to select this face, and we're going to go in and add in some loop cuts. Nice number of loop cuts. And then we're going to select those loop cuts. Actually, we're going to select this whole face, inset it with I. Then we're going to select every other face. You can do that with Shift. And insert them. Then I'm going to change that color to I'm going to assign another color, and it's going to be the copper color. And that creates a nice little fin exhaust port on the side. And we want to create a button that'll turn on the lightsaber on the other side. So we're going to go and add in a cylinder. rotate it by 90 degrees. It doesn't matter which way you rotate it. Grab it, position it somewhere along there, scale it to like 0.1, 0.2, and scale it in the x-axis till it's kind of smallish. Press period to zoom in on it, grab it, and then bring it in. And then we're going to assign this to be rubber. And then depending upon where you want that button, you can move it in up or down. And there you have it. That's a nice, easy, and simple lightsaber. Now we want to create a blade for the lightsaber. To do that, we're going to go in and add a cylinder. And then we're going to scale it in the Shift Z direction. That means that it doesn't scale in the Z, it just scales in the X and Y. And then we're going to grab it, move it up, press period to zoom in on it, make sure that it is appropriately in the center. Then you want to tab into edit mode, go into X-ray mode. Sorry, I've not been able to say X-ray mode this whole time. Grabbing the Z direction, and then you want to make that as long as the lightsaber blade. We're going to do like 30 this time. It's nice and long. Then we can add a modifier, a subdivision surface modifier. Tap back into edit mode, and we're gonna add in a loop cut and bring it down towards the bottom. And this will control how jaggedish that is. And then you do the same with the top, but you don't bring it quite all the way up the top. You do it as much as you want to create it smooth. Make sure you shade this smooth. Now you have a nice lightsaber. Let's add in a material, and we want this material to shine. To make a material that shines, you have to control the emission. Click on the emission and bring it up, and then you can pick whatever color you want. And then we also want this to like radiate that kind of shiny, that bloom. And to do that, you go up here to render properties and click on bloom. Go back to the material, and we want to control how strong it is. We want it pretty strong, so we'll try like 25. And that creates a nice, powerful glow for the lightsaber. And there you have it. That is your simple lightsaber in Blender.